No, no, it's okay.
Oh, okay, fine. You look quite confident and quite well prepared for the session. Khushbu, you have been with us here for a pretty long time. So now if I ask you that why do you think that English communication is so important? What would be your answers? If I ask you that why this English communication is important to you, what would be your answer?
I think, ma'am, English communication is very fast in India also. I think mother tongue is Hindi, but the second tongue is English in India. It takes very rapidly in India, English. And maybe other country, English knows all the person very well. If I will visit maybe other country, then I learn some new cultures and new experience and new language. Maybe it's English or maybe it's different kind of language. It's like a common communication skills. I will develop some new communication skills in me. So I think English is very necessary for all the persons and kids also. Nowadays kids are learning very fast. I think my son is also learning very fast English. I am not going to I don't have a lot of fluency in English, but my kids have.
Okay, so now when you are trying to update yourself and do better, let me tell you some basic rules, okay? You
Okay.
please, if you have a copy or a diary with you,
Yes,
please
ma'am.
make, okay, so please keep on noting. Please keep on noting.
Okay, ma'am.
First thing is, please listen carefully. The pronunciation is not English, it is English. Okay,
English.
English. So whenever you have an sh sound, it is mostly sh.
Okay,
It is
ma'am.
mostly sh. So it is English.
English.
Okay, English. It's not English, it's English.
English.
So try to find out. Very good. Okay, it will be a hishing sound like shh. बच्चे जब शोरगुल करते हैं तो हम लोग घर में बोलते हैं ना "श्श, चुप", ऐसा होता है ना. So that is shh, that English. Okay, so
English.
that is one point. Yes, very good. That is one point. Second point is, please try to speak in correct grammar.
Okay.
Like like mother tongue is something which you get as the tongue of your mother. English can never be the mother tongue for people who are born in India like that. It can be their first language, but not mother tongue. A
Okay.
Marathi will always have their mother tongue as Marathi. A Bengali will always have a mother tongue as Bengali. A Hindi person or a North Indian person will always have a mother tongue in Hindi. A Punjabi guy will always have a mother tongue in Punjabi. Okay,
Punjabis.
so
Okay,
that
like
mother tongue is a wrong choice of word. What you could say is
first
English
language.
is the language. English is the global language for communication in today's world.
Okay, ma'am.
Because what I do you agree? Do you agree to this side?
Yes, ma'am.
आपको समझ में आ रहा है कि why I am saying this?
समझ में आ रही है. Yes, ma'am. Now I got it.
You got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because what you wanted to mean is English is the language through which all the people of the world can communicate with each other. This is exactly what you intended to mean, right?
Okay.
So for that, you have to pick up a sentence like this. Please make sure that fluency is one thing, but saying things in a correct way is also very important.
Yes, ma'am.
हम लोग जब घर में बात करते हैं तो किताबों में जैसी लैंग्वेज से लिखा जाता है वैसे लैंग्वेज से तो बात नहीं करते हैं,
नहीं बात
पर
करते. Yes, ma'am.
नहीं बात करते. सो तो फ्लुएंसी मैटर्स, बट जो सेंटेंस होता है
वो
उसका
सही
तो
होना चाहिए.
कॉन्स्ट्रक्शन तो सही होना जरूरी है ना.
Yes, ma'am.
ओके, तो
Yes, ma'am.
फ्लुएंसी the communication in me is fast is not a correct English. You said it
Okay.
like that. You said it
Okay.
like that when you were talking about your son, that my son is also learning fast, so I am not being able to cope up with him. So you will have to now learn newer English words. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
So you can put it like this way, that
English.
English is the language. English, it's not English.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
English.
English.
Very good. English is the language for global communication. Now there is another part which I want to mention. That is, you talked about the culture and other stuffs of the world, right?
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
See, what you wanted to mean is perhaps something like this. What I felt, that if you do not know a global language for communication, you fail to understand the culture and the rituals of different corners of the world, right? This is exactly what you wanted to mean.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
please understand that a language has not got only a role to play with ritual and culture.
Okay.
That is another part. Okay. Language is not ritual, language is not culture. Language is a language through which you can grasp the ritual and culture. Even if you don't know the language, you can try to grasp the essence of the culture and the ritual. But if you know, it helps definitely, because you need a common language. Like if I talk to you in Punjabi now, maybe you won't be able to understand because you don't know that. Similarly, if you start talking to me in Gujarati, I will fail to understand because I don't know that. So both of us, we need to connect in such a language which is common to either parties. You also know, and
Yes,
I also do know at the same time, right? So
okay. Yes,
English
ma'am.
is like that bridge. English is like that bridge which connects people of different culture, religion, practices from different corners of the world, right?
Yes, ma'am. Different corners
So,
of the world.
different corners of the world, please put it down. Whatever you are understanding, please
Yes,
put
ma'am.
it down as a note.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
will wait. I will wait. No, I am not in a hurry.
Ma'am,
But
I complete my different corners of the world.
you have put down that particular phrase?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Please put down another phrase, that global language. Now,
Yes,
when you practice home, no, now when you practice alone in home, you will be able to embed these phrases in your answer. Okay.
okay.
And more importantly, please do not put any derogatory statement in your answer ever. Like you said, that my kids are also learning English very fast. I am not being able to make a pace with them. You wanted to mean something like that, right?
Okay, okay. I can't speak like that, ma'am. Next time, maybe I will.
Yeah. So what should you say? You should put it like this way, that kids of today's world are also quite equipped in English. So I need to be better
Yes, I
to
need
be
to
at
be
for
better.
their excellence.
Yes,
I need to be better. This is
okay.
a very simple word, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. I got it.
I need to be better
Yes,
to be at for their excellence. I need to be better to be at for their excellence.
for their excellence. Okay, ma'am.
This is what you wanted to mean.
Yes, ma'am.
This is something that you wanted to mean in your answer.
Yes, ma'am. I need to be better to be as per their excellence.
Right. My question to you is now, are you being able to follow that what you are supposed to say and why? This why is very important. आपको समझ में आ रहा है कि आपको क्या बोलना है और क्यों बोलना है?
Yes, ma'am. समझ में आ रहा है. Now I speak like this. English is the global communication, global language.
No,
Sorry, ma'am. English is a global language. It's communicate very easily.
no. English is the
Global
global
language.
language for communication.
For
Please
communication.
understand. Please understand one thing. We cannot make you just gobble like anything, any answer. What we are trying to do is, we are trying to make you understand how you should think of an answer. Okay.
Okay.
Otherwise, what will happen is, if you get an unknown question, you will again repeat the same mistakes. These are only specimens. These are only guidelines. I am not asking you to write down the answer, then remember it, and
No,
then
no,
just
no.
to vomit it.
Yes,
Don't do
ma'am.
that.
No, no, no.
Please,
speak the words in
Just
a
understand and use them as per your convenience. Okay,
okay, ma'am.
very good. Khushbu, my second question to you is, you can take time and then you can answer me back. No hurry at all.
Okay.
My second question to you is, why you think festivals are so important in our life? As we all know that we are having Diwali in the next week, right?
Yes.
And it is a very major festival for many of us.
Yes.
Perhaps the entire North India celebrates Diwali like anything, and it's a very very enjoyable festival for the kids as well. So my question to you is, why do you think that festivals are so important in our life? You
Ma'am,
take your time. You may think for 2 minutes and then you can reply back. You don't have to reply immediately.
okay. Ma'am, start now. Uh, Ma'am, festival is very important in our life for its learning. It's learned very things like our cultures, our rituals, what we are doing in our country in India. It's a kind of tradition in India also, or all the houses. We will celebrate. It's very happiness. Actually, this day we will do some pujas like in front of God and Goddess. And Diwali is the Diwali is the very big festival in India. It's a Hindu festival. We learn a lot of things from Diwali, and we celebrate this Diwali to celebrate this Diwali to for our next generation also. They will learn what's the rituals and what's the cultures.
Mhm.
We experience a lot of things on the Diwali festival.
Okay, Khushbu, so now my feedback to your answer is, there is something called numbers, right? It's a singular number or plural number. Whenever you are saying festivals, it has to be festivals are. Whenever you are saying festival, it has to be festival is. Okay, so please make sure of this note. Point number one. Okay, if you wish, you can put it down as a note.
Yes, ma'am.
Second point is you popped up a very interesting point, that festival is such something through which we carry forward our rituals, our gesture, and our happiness from the preceding generation to the next generation. This is a very important point that you popped up. Please do understand that festivals have got religious bias at one point of time, but it is better to keep it amorphous whenever you are mentioning any festival. Say, for example, you just mentioned that Diwali is a Hindu festival. My dear, do you really think that the festival of light has got anything to do with religion?
Ma'am, ma'am, festival is celebrated in all over country,
No,
outside
my
also.
my my question is, you mentioned that Diwali is a Hindu festival. You mentioned this in
Sorry,
your
ma'am.
answer.
Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned it, right?
Yes.
It is better not to mention in any answer like that,
Okay.
because say for example, Christmas is not our festival. It is not something which is a Hindu festival. It's not an Islam festival, it's not a Punjabi festival, but it's a festival. A festival is for celebration, for the joy of everybody, and that is what makes a festival so grand, right?
Yes.
We all celebrate.
Yes, ma'am.
If you celebrate it alone, will it be a grand thing? Of course
No.
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 You celebrate with so many people around you, and that makes it to be grand, right?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
whenever you are so it is basically a way of expressing joy and happiness to everybody around us. It's a festival of connecting people. Festival is a way of celebrating life.
Yes, ma'am.
Festival is a way of celebrating life. हम खुशियां मनाते हैं किसके लिए? जिंदगी के लिए, अपनों के लिए.
Yes, मैं अपनों के लिए celebrating for happiness.
Yes. So that is something what you So what you have to keep it in mind is this broadness in your answer. Please keep your answer very warm. Please keep your answer very honest. Please keep your answer very short, simple, but correct. Okay? I hope I could make you understand today how you have to
Yes,
frame
ma'am.
your answers.
Yes, ma'am. Today I learned a lot. Thank you,
Okay.
ma'am.
I am so happy that you are learning. And thank you, Khushbu. With this, we will wrap up with you today and we will go to Yuvraj Pratap Singh.
Thank you, ma'am.
Lovely landscape in your display picture, Yuvraj, but can we please see you?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, my network connection is not so good. So, ma'am, I
Okay,
am
beta, no
unable.
issues. No issues, no issues. Okay, so Yuvraj, you must be aware of the fact that this year's Diwali, we all are not purchasing any patakas or anything because of the COVID situation. So, what is your stake on this note? What do you feel about it?
Ma'am, I feel that it's good, ma'am, because uh, by doing this kind of things, pollution spread by doing this kind of things.
Mhm. And
So,
this year, we are not buying it specifically for the COVID issue, for the COVID ground. So, do you know that why we are requested not to buy and not to buy patakas, burnt patakas, and how this is going to affect the COVID infected patients? Do you have any clue about it?
no, ma'am, I don't. I not have any kind of clue.
Okay, okay. What is Diwali to you? Do you celebrate Diwali at home?
Yes, ma'am, I celebrated.
How do you celebrate?
Ma'am, I celebrated. I enjoy in this festival. Like I burn patakas and I enjoy it a lot.
My question to you was how do you enjoy? How do you celebrate?
Ma'am, I burn patakas
Mm-hmm.
and ma'am, these kind of things I do, but I cannot explain it because it's a very huge term.
Okay, okay.
Ma'am, can you tell me that why patakas are banned?
It is not like that it is banned, but it is a request from the higher authorities of the government to all of us that this year we should not buy and burn patakas because when patakas are burnt, carbon dioxide and huge amount of carbon monoxide gases are released, and these are two toxic gases in the environment which pollutes the entire air. And as we all know, that COVID is basically harming the respiratory system of human being on a larger scale, and there are a lot of patients who are either symptomatic or asymptomatic or survivor or fighting with COVID in this given situation. So their respiratory trouble can overshoot like anything if the air that they are inhaling is toxic, and that can increase the fatality rate to a great extent. That is why it's a very sincere request from the government to every one of us that this year we should restrain ourselves from burning patakas. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Do you agree to the logic that I explained?
Yes, ma'am, I am definitely agree to this logic.
Okay. Yuvraj, you tell me one thing. You are studying in class 8, perhaps, in a school in Jamshedpur, right? And if I am
No,
not
no,
very,
ma'am. Hello,
yes, you are
ma'am.
from where? You are from where?
Ma'am, I study in fifth class.
Okay, you study in fifth class. Acha, if I am not very wrong, your father is your friend and he teaches you English, right? In the last date, you
Yes,
told me
ma'am.
that. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, okay. So you are in standard 5, Yuvraj. Can you please tell me that why do you think that English communication is so very important in life?
Ma'am, it's very important because if we want to communicate with any other people who don't know Hindi,
Mm-hmm.
so ma'am, we can easily talk with him by talking in English, ma'am, because English is a global language. Which,
Lovely. And then
hello,
English is a global language. Then,
ma'am, I think that everyone don't know that how to speak English properly.
mm-hmm.
In India, ma'am, in India,
Mm-hmm.
I am telling the condition of India.
Mm-hmm. That's a wonderful approach. And more importantly, since you are so young, do you think that knowing good English can be a helping tool for you to get good job opportunities in your future? Can it help you to get better jobs? Is it like that?
Yes, ma'am, it can help me because in interviews, I have seen a very many kind of interviews where all questions are asked in English.
Okay. So whenever you are going to appear into any job interview sessions or any examinations where people from different languages are coming and joining for interviewing you, English is the common language. It is the international language through which we all communicate, right? So, as you rightly popped up the term that I just shared with Kushbu, that English is the global language through which we all communicate. Yuvraj, my last question to you would be, if you are given, say for example, 10,000 rupees as a prize money, what are the three things that you want to do with that 10,000 rupees and why? Three things that you want to do with the 10,000 rupees and why?
Ma'am, first I will donate some money to
Why?
ma'am because I like donation. I like helping people.
Okay. And the next two?
Then, ma'am, I will purchase something for me, like some
So,
toys and some important books. Like these kind of things, I will purchase,
mhm,
and rest of the money I will give to my parents.
okay. There was a why associated with the every answer. Would you like to explain a bit on that?
Ma'am, I not got your point.
There was a why associated with every question. My question was, what would you like to do and why? You just explained out of the three only one why, because you said that you love to donate. Okay. Why do you want to give it to your parents and why do you want to buy something for yourself? That whys
Ma'am,
are.
because if I have if someone gives me money, then definitely I will purchase something for me. Because
Okay. Mhm.
it's it's I think it's everyone's choice.
Okay. 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 So, Yuraj, a humble suggestion to you is, you are very young, you have a long way to grow, and you'll grow surely. So, my suggestion to you is, if you are putting a noble cause as your wish, please add some specific agenda towards it. Okay. Like you nicely said, that if I get some money, I would love to donate it to the people who really, really need it. There are a lot of people who need it. There is no limit on that, right? So please try to mention it in this way, that I would love to donate a portion of my money to the children who are underprivileged and do not get education stuffs for their learning, I want to help them out. Like you can buy some books, pens, pencils, stuffs like that. You can buy some food for the people who remain hungry on streets, who do not get a square meal a day. You may intend to give them food. You may intend to give them clothes. The people who do not have good things to wear during winter, you may give them some woolen clothes, right? Because if you have something extra, it is always good to offer it to those people who really do not have it. And if you do give that to them, it is your joy. And more than that, we always have a reason to contribute towards our society because society has given us a lot. We have taken a lot from society. So it is time that if we get an opportunity, we give it back to them. Okay, try to put answers in a nice way so that your thought process inspires somebody else who is listening to you. Please understand one thing, communication is more about touching and connecting people. If you can touch the heart of the person who is listening to you, you are a successful communicator. This is something which I'm telling to all the participants here, not to Yuvraj only. Communication is a way through which you have to reach to the heart of your audience. You have to win the heart, you have to touch the heart. And if you can do that, you are a successful communicator. So please try to inspire people. Please try to motivate people. Please try to make sure that whatever you are saying is not fake. Whatever you believe, your answer is exactly like that. Okay? Am I understandable, Yuvraj? Do you agree to my explanation?
Hello.
Yuvraj, do you agree to my explanation?
Yes, ma'am, I am agree.
I am agree now. I am agreed or I do agree. Okay.
I do agree, ma'am.
Yeah, I do agree. Or you can say that, of course, I do. That's a more professional way of putting things. Of course, I do.
Of course I do, ma'am.
Yes, remember these phrases. Okay. Whenever you are saying something to somebody where you have no points to deviate or to differ, then you can say that I second you, or of course, I do agree. Completely agreed. Okay. We, we,
Okay,
we,
ma'am.
we put it in, we put it in this way. So Veena, shall we wrap up or how much time? Okay, so the session is going to wrap up in the next 60